At 5, every real-world mission they flew was classified or secret or above. The military aircraft was based only in Georgia, and now it's flown its last battlefield mission. JSTARS saved countless lives during recent battles. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie went on a flight. He's live in Cobb County at the National Guard. Mark, you met an officer who credits these men and women for actually saving him.
So Major General Kanata Crumley says last week a Georgia Air Guard crew flew a JSTARS airplane for the last time after 2 decades of classified life-saving missions. But this is a Black Hawk helicopter. The general told us he was a young officer assigned on the ground to a Black Hawk battalion in Iraq when, in all likelihood, JSTARS saved his life.
Crew, we're in mission mode. Start number 2 now.
JSTARS has saved countless lives.
I'm good on 2.
We have memorial walls all around this nation.
Anything that's moving, pretty much JSTARS can pick up.
Their names and faces not on those walls because of the men and women in Team JSTARS.
The JSTARS tracks ground movement, surface movement, and air movement.
It has flown into history, our eyes in the sky. The E-8C JSTARS, short for Joint Surveillance Target Attack Radar System, America's premier battlefield management, command and control aircraft in the overseas war on terror, and more since 2002, and based only at Robins Air Force Base, Georgia, says Georgia Air National Guard Major General Kanata Crumley.
And the JSTARS probably saved your life.
It did. Who told us in 2003 he was a young Army captain in Iraq when his unit was bogged down in a blinding sandstorm.
Visibility was basically zero.
Before JSTARS warned you, you had no idea that the Iraqi Republican Guard was advancing toward you with tanks.
That's right. It was JSTARS that told us they were heading our way. They were able to put F-15 Strike Eagles onto those targets, and they never made it to us.
You could have been ambushed.
It was definitely going to happen.
I think all the time about the impact that we've had, not only just the Army, Marines, Navy, and even airmen that are down on the floor, but also the civilian lives that we had. This intrinsic call to service is to create a better future for everybody.
The Georgia Air National Guard says every battlefield mission, these aircraft based only in Georgia, has flown around the world. It's been classified secret or above. In October, we boarded a JSTARS flight at Robins, one of JSTARS' last flights, General Crumley says, before the JSTARS program was ended this month. He says its last real-world mission was flown in September out of Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany.
We were there in Europe to support air superiority operations for our NATO allies in Poland.
Poland, we know, shares a border with Ukraine. Ukraine, as the world knows, immersed in war with Russia. Recently retired Georgia Air National Guard Major General Thomas Grabowski, who told us he flew 1,700 combat hours in JSTARS over Afghanistan and Iraq, says he knows JSTARS has alerted American soldiers or Marine or our allies to approaching threats from enemies including Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, the Iraqi Republican Guard, ISIS, ISIL, and many others around the world.
You've been over areas where drug cartels operate?
Absolutely.
In a lot of places you can't tell us.
Yes.
Colonel Chris Dunlap told us the Georgia Guard's 116th Air Control Wing he commands jointly operated JSTARS with an active duty Air Force wing, and others, like U.S. Army soldiers, were often on board.
We specialize in intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance.
The pilot on our flight, Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Banks.
I do what I do because I want to make sure that I did whatever I could in the defense of this great nation. If I have a talent, if I have an asset, if I have a skill set, I wanted to put that to use to where we can be as safe as possible.
Captain Andrea Coleman told us while she was co-pilot on our flight, she was pilot on that same airplane for that last real-world mission out of Germany. That her first aviation job was flight attendant, but she became the first black female pilot in the Georgia Guard and an airline pilot as well.
I've taken this jet around the world.
Here, this is what we effectively call the pit on the JSTARS.
Captain Ryan Patterson told us in the back of the JSTARS, air battle managers played specialized roles in getting help for folks in need on the ground.
We have our air radar technicians.
Communication systems, airborne intelligence ops. On the JSTARS, the navigator also plays a role in keeping the airplane away from threats.
Absolutely.
Georgia National Guard Adjutant General Thomas Carden says JSTARS is done largely because of the threat of increasingly sophisticated weapons in the hands of our enemies.
There's new technology there to help us get that mission done in a way that doesn't put people at risk.
He says much of that technology will be rooted in Georgia, including a U.S. Air Force flying communications platform. Colonel Dunlap says many of the skills Georgia Guard members used on JSTARS, they will soon use in 2 new missions at Robins. But on the ground,
no jobs are going to be lost and no flags are going down at Robins Air Force Base. That was the commitment of now 2 chiefs of staff of the Air Force.
Now, General Crumley told me the new advanced battle management system, which will pull in information from satellites, manned and unmanned aircraft and more, should bring a 30-year mission to Georgia and a lot of high-tech jobs. And he says the year after JSTARS potentially saved his life and a lot of others, he switched from the Army to the Air National Guard and eventually became a JSTARS pilot himself. Reporting live at Clay National Guard Center, this is Mark Winnie, Channel 2 Action News.
Mark, we're so grateful for all that they have done for each and every one of us. Great report. Thank you.